I want to tell you the story how this began. There was a Horizon Europe call for proposals for, I think, 4 or 5 different topical domains. And I've been thinking in my head, we need some kind of big EU project who would, put this to the next level. And I wrote Søren Auer, who I know personally, but not very well, actually. I've invited him to have a keynote talk at one of the SMW cons several years ago. So I just write him an email, there are these calls out, we should do a rewrite of Semantic MediaWiki, or I don't know, do something. And he just answered, that's a great idea. And he CC'd one of his coworkers, and then all of a sudden TEB, the professional TEB thing went on. And we actually got this call. And one of the coolest person in the room is Lozana Rossenova, who wrote this proposal. And if you ever have written a EU proposal, you know how hard this is. So we have Leibniz, we know Leibniz cakes in Vienna, but we have Mannerschnitten, which is the better option, actually. So thank you, Lozana, for making this possible. That's really great. So we want to very briefly look back on 20 years of Semantic MediaWiki and also Wikibase, by the way. Lozana will tell you a little bit more about the upcoming project, and then we'll give you some kind of outlook. So it all started in Germany at the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. You know this. There was in 2005, so 20 years ago, the first version of Semantic MediaWiki was published. Actually, it was PhD students, Danny Vrandicic and Markus Grötsch, and they made some suggestions. First, called Semantic Wikipedia. So it was always the idea to semantify Wikipedia. And the first version was released in September 2005. So you can read this up. Interestingly enough, the first there was a German company called Enterprise and a US company called Vulkan who financed also the first development. And there was something called Semantic MediaWiki Plus, which was a proprietary version with some proprietary extensions. And you might have heard about Lydia Pincher, who is now community manager of Wikidata. She was back then community manager at Enterprise, so that's interesting, how you meet people again. And what they did was something like this. It was really about annotating without editing the wiki syntax. So they had some kind of an interface. So these are just some screenshots. Some ontology browser that would suggest to you what properties you could annotate with. This Enterprise company went bankrupt, but many of the people who were involved are still around in some other form. Page forms, thank you to Yaron, in 2007 was really a game changer. So that brought us to the idea of we can pre-structure what we want to enter if we use page forms. So we really have, here you can see how we submit talks to the conferences. This is a great thing to have. Yeah, and from 2009 to 2012, Wikidata came. The idea was actually put forward by Eric Möller, a former CEO of the Wikimedia Foundation. There was also a EU project involved, so I think EU projects are important because there's a lot of funding involved there. So then there was the idea of Shortipedia, again Danny Vrandicic. And then the development of Wikidata started in 2012 with notable people here. Some of you will know and will see some of the names here. There's a nice article on this, 10 years of Wikidata, so you can look this up if you are further interested. Yeah, and Semantic MediaWiki is still relevant today, not only because of the conferences. There also were some initiating EU projects back then. And also since then, some of you have been part in EU projects where Semantic MediaWiki has been used. Yeah, so it's not only Semantic MediaWiki, the core repository. You can see here some basic things that are interesting, but it's actually 34 repositories because there are other semantic extensions, not only Semantic MediaWiki core. So there's a lot activity on all of those extensions. So it's time to say thank you. And these are all the people that have, in one form or the other, contributed to Semantic MediaWiki over the last 20 years. So some people are in the room, some have moved on to completely different things, but I think it's a nice thing to just say thank you for Semantic MediaWiki, because it's a great software and it hopefully will continue to be that. Now it doesn't work. I tried to do this a lot. I don't know why. I'm sorry. This is PowerPoint. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we have seen this before. I just want to mention one thing. In our project, we will be interested in different aspects of how to manage structured data within MediaWiki. But we will be, I guess, mostly interested in these two extensions. Why? Because it is about knowledge graphs and it is about semantic web technologies. So the real relational database approaches, we might look into those, but I think this is not the way we think we will move forward. So we will look at those approaches and see how we can improve them. So because for a knowledge graph, if you want to power a knowledge graph, you have basically these two options. And this is what we are planning to do in the ECHOLOT project. So Lozana will tell you a little bit more.
Great, excellent. Thank you, Bernhard. So yes, ECHOLOT project came about through various fruitful discussions within both the Semantic MediaWiki and Wikibase communities, because I think slightly in parallel and eventually slightly together, we decided it's really a time to have a code base rewrite. And last year, at the same time, actually in Vienna, we had the first partial meeting of the potential consortium of people who would be interested in joining this project. So the ECHOLOT project stands for European Cultural Heritage Optimized Linked Open Tools. It's a mouthful, but we just thought ECHOLOT is cool because it's like a instrument for deep sea communications, and we thought, yes, in the deep sea of knowledge, we need to communicate. It's part of an initiative called ECCCH, European Cultural Collaborative Cloud for Cultural Heritage, which is something like if some of you are familiar with EOS, European Open Science Cloud, this is like the version of that for culture. So what we proposed to the EU to do is to make a complete software suite that will make the creation, reuse, dissemination of high-quality, semantically rich and interoperable cultural heritage data much more accessible and fair. Like that was the main thing, fair data. We propose that instead of starting completely from scratch, which would not be feasible even within the funding scope of a Horizon project, we would start with an existing suite, MediaWiki, and further develop that to fit the needs of the particular requirements of the ECCCH. And a key thing that we wanted to do is enable the connection with other European infrastructures, such as Europeana, the Data Space for Cultural Heritage, EOSC, and in parallel with Wikidata. I'll talk about that in a second. A few more things worth noting is that we are going to be working on a series of modules and hybrid curation workflows that will combine AI with knowledge and rule-based approaches, so that we have a, let's say, more supported automation in the data curation process, but we will keep human-in-the-loop checks. Other important things to mention here is that what's quite important in cultural heritage is correct attribution, preserving provenance information. We will aim to keep that in the loop. And of course, there will be a lot of outreach activities for sustainability. This DOI here will take you if you want to read more about the project on the EU website. Important to mention who are our partners, because this will make or break, I think, the project, and we are proud to say we have excellent partners in this project. People from the community, like Bernhard representing KMA, and we also have Jeroen from Professional Wiki being part of the core development team. But we also have members from the Austrian Academy of Sciences and the Polish Academy of Sciences, and they're key in building the ECCCH. So they're actually the key partners who build the infrastructure upon which we will base our software suite, and many other wonderful partners representing the arts and humanities across Europe. Notable is also that we did get the Europeana Foundation to be part of the project. They are the largest aggregator of cultural data in Europe at the moment. They are basically the largest European funded project before the ECCH, so the ECCH in many ways continues the Europeana vision forward. Yeah, basically I think we have a diverse consortium of research and industry partners. Now, for many of you, I suppose this whole thing with ECCH would be a bit, what is this? So, a brief intro. So, the vision of ECCCH is to have three components. There is an infrastructure component, there's a software, what they're calling the vertical application layer, and then there is a dimension of use cases and actually people who will be actively using these components. This whole thing is governed by a project called ECHOs. There are a lot of names we're using, but it's important to understand the differences. ECHOs are primarily responsible for the infrastructure, and here you see an overview of what this infrastructure will be. The cloud is meant to be a data processing environment. It's not a data publishing environment. You don't put your data there, but you process your data there. And this is key to the ECHOLOT vision. ECHOLOT will live in the section on the left, I guess, on the slide, the data processing tools. So what is the ECHOLOT vision? We want to connect across different communities, and we're offering to significantly reduce effort for cultural heritage, but potentially also other research organizations beyond cultural heritage in Europe by offering two-in-one, essentially. So we will process data in this suite, but what we will do is we will output data in one go towards both Europeana and the European data spaces and Wikimedia ecosystem. So this is quite crucial. In many, many talks with partners, we've identified that in Europe, at least in Europe at the moment, the vast majority of cultural heritage institutions are burdened by having to do the same work twice. And the same work twice, but also with different outputs. So once they have to process and prepare the data for their national aggregators, and another time they want to process and prepare data for upload to Wikidata, Wikimedia Commons, etc. And both of these things are important, and this is recognized widely across the sector. But at the moment, these things are extremely manual labor intensive and not efficient, and yeah, a burden on the system. So with ECHOLOT, we will connect the basically CHI, like the cultural heritage institutions, their collection management systems with both these data publishing environments, Europeana and the Wikimedia ecosystem. And all of this also should have a great impact, that's at least the theory, on the culture and creative industry sector in Europe, because we will make data available with proper provenance, with proper licensing, etc. A little bit more interestingly, this is the kind of architectural vision of ECHOLOT. We will be able to intake data from diverse kind of institutional repositories. They can be structured in different formats, OAI, PMH, SQL, RDF, whatever they want to have. We'll be able to, through a series of plugins, import, map, and transform the data, reconcile, enrich with existing global semantic resources, including Wikidata. Also, we have modules for media annotation, like 3D media as well, visualization, quality checks, human in the loop, very important, and kind of a crucial new thing that, I mean, a lot of these things you might say, yeah, but there are things that already exist for that, and that's true, but they're not really integrated easily. What is completely new and that doesn't exist is the provenance and rights attribution module, so being able to have both a kind of historical provenance and objects, like which museum had this thing, but also a data provenance, so how was the data transformed throughout different workflows, and keep that chain of production metadata available. And then export, mapping, and transformation, so that we can publish in sort of one-click publishing to both Europeana, the data space for cultural heritage in Europe. This is the publishing arm of the ECCCH vision, and then the Wikimedia ecosystem. All of this will be done across several work packages. We have a work package for working on the ground code base of MediaWiki. We have work package for developing the hybrid curation workflows, basically a lot of these plugins with AI support in them. We have a package for case studies, so we will test all of this iteratively with a lot. We have over 20 cultural heritage partners across Europe already signed up to work with us on this project. And yeah, in the end, we'll have a lot of outreach and training events. So that's another important component of the project and its sustainability vision. And I think, yeah, what is the outlook? Bernhard, maybe you want to jump back in. What do we want to do with all this?
Oh, yeah. So again, the reminder that Semantic MediaWiki is an important ecosystem that has not a governing institution. So we need your contributions in sponsoring still. Thank you also to the Semantic MediaWiki sponsors that are not the conference sponsors, not always the same, but here we have the general sponsors of Semantic MediaWiki. So you are welcome to sponsor it because a EU project takes time, and yeah, we will see what the future will bring. So yeah, let's collaborate on the future of great MediaWiki applications based on the MediaWiki platform. And yeah, please stay tuned for what we do in the ECHOLOT project. But I really think it's going to be a game changer. So yeah, thank you, and we are open for any questions you might have.